Hello everybody, my project is about calculating the deforestation disaster using computing methods and data sciences. So as we all know, there is like ongoing disaster in the world which is related to deforestation. So my idea is to understand that and give a brief understanding with the computing methods using the satellite imagery. So the main purpose here is to understand how much deforestation has been going on through 300 years of time. So as you know, there has been like 40% of Earth's terrestrial surface was covered with extensive forestry, but it was decreasing throughout this time, and because of this the temperature has been increasing, and as we all know, there is like a major disaster ongoing because of it. So there is like two terms which I have to mention in this slideshow, which is LST and ET. So the ET is normally stands for evapotranspiration. So as well as LST stands for line times, and as well as LST stands for land surface temperature. So in this uncertainty rests with the degree of which local forestation may counteract the defects of the local deforestation. So I'm trying to get some details and idea through the satellite images and get some calculation with the Python, and then understand it with some plot diagrams, and then give an analyze in my report. So moving forward, as you know, there are some such changes which can affect the local climate due to Earth's surface, and there is like exclamate projectile regional and global climate changes due to that. So my idea is to take like 10 years gaps. So in this project mainly I'm focusing like 10-year gaps from 2000 to 2010. I'm trying to get some data and find out the land surface temperature changes from due to evapotranspiration. So in this project there are like various parts of the world. I'm trying to figure it out, majorly focus on the South America and the North America, and then compare with the what is the deforestation happening, and then I'm gonna analyze it through some data analysis. So moving forward, there is some diagram I wanted to explain, which is the forest cover and how the deforestation is happening. So as you know, there is like a lot of forests which is been cut, and due to that there is evapotranspiration is happening with the transpiration trees, and the grass is being removed, and because of the evaporation, this evapotranspiration happens, and this made the land surface temperature to rise, as well as when the albedo and the vegetation and the soil heat absorb, and then it will snow and ice will reflect, which gonna lead to global warming. These are some of the theories which I want to give, like the compilation of the global forest and the climate data sets which in for a time period, as well as preliminary treatments as the data sets. We're gonna have the quality controls and the standardization with the spatial resolution and calculation some various annual averages in the 10-year gaps. So as well as I want to calculate the forest change over period using satellite images, as I mentioned before, as well as some of the changes which is happening with the climate when it comes to variables, as well as I'm gonna explain some searchings which I found in specifically in some of the journals which I've been reading, and especially the area wise how it has reduced from the satellite image. I want to calculate with my program. Moving forward, I have counted like various data from mostly with the pixels, and I have got some kind of natural pictures as well as some satellite imagery. So mostly I'm considering like 5 to 5 5 into 5 kilometer cells, and then trying to analyze those data and then give a forest cover and climate variables, as well as I'm gonna cross the nighttime imagery, as well as I'm gonna compare the daytime imagery through with this application. And then I want to aim the assess and the overall effects of this deforestation when it comes to the temperature rise. Moving forward with this, the same imagery data will be used to calculate the evapotranspiration as well as for the resolution, because when we get the certain types of data from the satellite imagery, we have to check the pixels as well as how the evapotranspiration has happened. In this way, I can get the albedo counts as well as the cloud cover will be analyzed throughout and get some kind of idea how it has happened. So I got a chance to get like various types of data imagery, and then from that I was calculating those pixels as well as certain amounts of changes which has happened throughout a time period. So this is one of the strategies which I have seen in this. So as you see, I'm more concerned about the world global wise. So this slide gives an idea of what has happened throughout this time. There is a calculation which I'm looking into this picture. As you see, the delta F local equals to delta F local minus to delta F ref. So in this, the delta F focal is the local decade change in the forest cover, which is 2010 minus cover to 2010, because that's the time period I'm focusing on. After that, the focus cell and the delta F ref is the local decadal change which I'm going to calculate. So the figure 1 will show how it has been changed as well as some of the changes which has happened. As you see, A, B, C from the 2010 to 2000. So I'm trying to calculate how much percentage has changed with the focal count and then analyze it with some of the data. So that is the main strategy I'm going to use in this project. So mainly, as you see, 5x3 cells have the adjacent window partially overlapping 3 cells into longitude, and then it will have some kind of a latitude which I'm gonna check with this similar calculation. So my strategies was to get like at least 100 to 150 images, and then count the temperature change during this time, as well as how the deforestation has happened. So that was the main strategy which I used in this project. So moving forward, I have seen some research which is the pairs of varied among variables. So in my report, I have give a conclusion evidence and what are the application methods I have used. So I'm trying to give some data as well as some of the application and the code, the Python actual code which I have used in order to understand these pixels and how the deforestation happens. So it gives me a mixed modeling approach which give a parameter overestimation as well as some spatial auto correlation. So my idea is to understand. So in my report, I will be submitting all these details very conclusively, and then make you understand it very well. So as you see, this is one of the images which I got from a journal. This journal gives some how the temperature has increased, like the latitude as well as the forestation. So the deforestation and the forestation is two things which is happening right now. So it will include it as well as change the LST level. So in this picture, it shows actually the deforestation and the forestation comparison as well as the change in LST. as well as the change in evapotranspiration, as well as change in albedo. So moving forward, these results shows us the similar amounts of deforestation and forestation has impacted the magnitude how the temperature has risen in this globally. So as you all know, like people are talking about how the temperature is increasing. There's like a lot more movements are going on. So my project is more about understanding what is actually happening and giving some data to prove it's a true, because most of the people think the global warming is something which is not happening in the world. It is something myth, but actually this data which I have calculated is totally have a conclusive evidence that the deforestation is one of the major part of temperature rising in the world. So my data suggests that equation models which I have used, so the Python code I'm using in this project is to understand and make understand everybody how the deforestation is happening in the world. So moving forward, this is one of the summary pictures. As you see, the deforestation is one of the major causes of our temperature rise in the globally. So in my project I wanted to explain it really well. This is my presentation, and I'm gonna wrap it up with conclusive evidence that it is very of course there is a global warming happening in this world, and we need to prevent it as soon as possible, unless it will be a very headache and for the humankind. Thank you so much.